All right, yo. I'm coming at you with some draft tips. Number one, first draft tip on the board. Don't take Travis Kelce in the mid to early first round. I understand that Travis Kelce offers a positional advantage, or did this year, but there's a couple problems with that argument. The first is that it was this year, right? George Kittle was hurt for most of the year. He had a labrum injury, I believe, heading into the season. He didn't get surgery for it. Hurt his ankle, and he got like 3 different injuries this season that kept him out, and he still returned in the final week of the season. Darren Waller looked fantastic to end the season. He had a 200-yard game with 2 touchdowns. That is a Travis Kelce meteoric rise. Kelce, we can always, you say somebody's a year older, and that's not necessarily an argument. But Tyreek Hill is one of the most dangerous number 1 options in the entire league, probably behind Will Fuller. Tyreek Hill has off-the-field issues. Tyreek Hill relies on his speed. We don't know what a slow Tyreek Hill would do in the NFL. It could be that he ends up being like Dez Bryant, where he's really good for a long time and then just kind of disappears because his route running isn't proficient enough at the next level for him to get open if he's not able to use his main skill. Dez Bryant's main skill was over-the-shoulder catches, using his big body to box out the cornerbacks. Tyreek Hill just outruns him with his quick little jittery feet. Not an insult, but it's just how his feet go. He doesn't have long strides. Yeah. So if you want to pick Travis Kelce with the 13th pick, fine. I would personally have him around the 20-ish mark, maybe a little earlier. He's great. He's a great second-round draft pick. And if you have him as your second-round draft pick, then you would feel really good. But to have him as your 7th overall pick, picking him over Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, James Robinson, Jonathan Taylor, just to name a couple names, if and that's not even naming if Dalvin Cook or Saquon or Alvin Kamara has fallen to you. It won't help out your team. There's no such thing as a positional advantage for your tight end if you're missing out on running back. You don't have an advantage if your opponent has Dalvin Cook and you have Travis Kelce, right? Then you both have a stud. But if you come out and you pick Travis Kelce with your 13th pick and you're able to end up with, let's say, maybe Nick Chubb is too high. Let's say you're able to leave with DeAndre Swift, J.K. Dobbins, Antonio Gibson, Miles Sanders, assuming that Jalen Hurts is the quarterback, and we'll get on that in a second. Assuming that you can get one of those guys and Travis Kelce, that's a lot better than picking Travis Kelce at the 107 and seeing what running back will fall to you at that point. It also substantially hurts the rest of your draft, right? If I'm not picking Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, George Kittle, maybe Noah Fant, whatever, probably just those 3, I'm going to be fading tight end, just like I did last year. So your first overall pick is going to be my 12th overall pick. And if I can find somebody that's serviceable, then the advantage that I will accrue at running back will beat out the advantage that you accrue at tight end. Hopefully that makes sense. I don't really know how to explain it without making this video 10 times longer. Hopefully that makes sense. Let me put it like this. If you're picking a tight end and then you pick a wide receiver, then your running backs and quarterbacks are going to suffer for the rest of the draft. Whereas when I pick a tight end, even though I'm not picking Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Darren Waller, the 5th best tight end and the 12th best tight end don't have all that much distance between them. So it's not horrible to fade the position, to stream it for the rest of the year. I could probably average an okay amount of points by picking the tight end that has the best matchup on the waiver wire. Let's say I average 11 points. It's still probably going to do better than whatever running back and quarterback core that you were able to collect in the 4th and 7th round. Saquon is rehabbing with Adrian Peterson. that means something. Adrian Peterson has come back from this ACL injury. Now, is Saquon done? I don't think so. I mean, he looked like one of the greatest running backs in the league. Now, I can't live in the moment and assume that he's just going to be great because he's always been great. But if he hasn't had that many injuries in his career, which to my understanding he's had none up until his career in the NFL, and he's 23, and he's rehabbing with Adrian Peterson, I think it's a pretty good chance that he's going to be at least 80% to 90% of what he was last year. Adrian Peterson was able to pick up right where he left off. Now, obviously, Saquon isn't Adrian Peterson, but they aren't that different when it comes to how they're built. Both gigantic, powerful, fast running backs, right? I'm not personally scared of the Saquon ACL injury. That's why I have him currently ranked second. Now, some people have Alvin Kamara. Some people have Dalvin Cook in that spot. I think they have the same issues that Saquon has. Dalvin Cook has had an injury-ridden career. Hasn't been able to complete one season. Alvin Kamara, he hasn't had as much injury issues, but we don't know if his quarterback next year is going to be Drew Brees. We don't know if it's going to be Taysom Hill. We don't know if it's going to be Jameis Winston. If it's Taysom Hill, his production goes down substantially. We saw that at the end of this year. If it's Jameis Winston, maybe it doesn't go down as much. But the point is that until we know that Drew Brees is the quarterback for Alvin Kamara next year, I find it hard to place him over Dalvin Cook. And if Dalvin Cook and Saquon have the same injury issues, then I'm going to default to Saquon. I am giving up on Aaron Jones. I don't like analysis that starts and ends at this team is dumb. It is true. Not every NFL team is run well. Not every team is coached well. Not every team drafts well. The Packers have a long history of drafting pretty well. And there's one thing that they've done, and that's make sure that they cover positions before they run out. Aaron Jones is not a first-round talent as of right now. My understanding is that Aaron Jones is not going to be on the Packers to start next year. If they're going to pick A.J. Dillon with their second pick, knowing that Aaron Jones' contract expires at the end of this year, that he's an aging running back, and that obviously has not looked very good in the past couple of years, right? Todd Gurley signing with the Rams, Ezekiel Elliott signing with the Cowboys. Leagues teams are moving in a direction where they're having a running back by committee. We're seeing workhorse running backs, true workhorse running backs, almost disappear in the NFL. It's CMC maybe, and James Robinson, Sierra Henry, and the list gets sparser from there. So it's highly unlikely that the Packers would spend a large amount of their team's cap signing Aaron Jones and keeping Aaron Jones through an aging career. And if they do, it would probably be just for 1 or 2 years. It wouldn't be a 4-year contract. Therefore, A.J. Dillon up on the rankings, Aaron Jones down on the rankings until we get confirmation that the Packers want Aaron Jones in the backfield and that they're going to have him back. Eagles situation. Carson Wentz is terrible. Carson Wentz is doo-doo. He is a terrible quarterback. He's awful. Just doesn't know how to throw a football. I've never seen somebody hold on to the ball for so long when nothing is open. He creates turnovers. He creates sacks. He's been in the league for 3 or 4 years at this point, and he still doesn't know how to read a defense. That's a problem. That's a mentality issue. That's not something that you can coach. I'm sure the coach, Doug Peterson, was telling him every day at practice, hey, Carson Wentz, you got to get that ball out of your hands. It's not working because there's nothing open, and you're getting hurt, and you're getting hit, and now you're getting pressured, and now you're throwing the ball quicker, and you're not going into your motions. Your footwork looks worse. We heard for 10 to 11 weeks, hey, the Eagles aren't doing Carson Wentz any favors. He doesn't have the weapons. He doesn't have the offensive line. He's not getting any help. And then Jalen Hurts takes over and does it all with no excuses. Well, thanks for tuning in to my draft tips video. It's early. I got some more for you, but that's just so far what I'm seeing this year. Don't be afraid to just double down on some of these players, some of these strategies that we used last year that don't seem like they were as effective as we'd hope, right? Most of the running backs that went in the top rounds of this year were busts. That doesn't mean that taking a running back with your first overall pick is a bad philosophy, right? Don't be lost in the sauce. Thanks.